Welcome to another edition of the Mael Time podcast. I'm Daniel Mael. Joining me today is the family of Ilay Eliyahu Cohen, Zichrono Livracha, who rose up in Gaza in December of 2023. I'm welcoming multiple members of his family: Zaki, Rinat, sister Netta, Shaked, and his grandmother Ruthie. So thank you guys for joining.
Thank you.
One of the things that we're trying to do here is to tell the story of soldiers' lives beyond the day that they fell, rose up, and give people a sense of the entirety of their lives and how special they were. So, what was Ilay like as a kid?
He was very energetic since he was born. He was very curious, has lots of hobbies and special hobbies. When he was young, he liked to play with games that connected to the war, like in the computer or in the Purim. He wore costumes like a soldier, like a policeman, all the things that connected to warring and something in that.
Were you guys professionals in the army, or he just happened to be?
It was
I was a rough shot. You know what rough shots? Rough shot is the charge of the security in the army.
Right. So for the Kitot Konanut of your
He was the head of the Kitat Kumanut, and Ilas was joining him in the tours in the Mushav, and we had a police jeep. He did many tours in the Mushav, and maybe that's the connection. Also, his grandmother, Zaki's father. Zaki's father was in the Mishmar HaGvul, Kitat Kumanut.
His grandfather was
nearly 26. 26. His grandmother says that 26.
Ruthie says his grandfather was in Magav, the Israeli Border Patrol, for 26 years. So I think also a lot of Eli's love for being a soldier came from that environment, because the Moshav Bet Nehemiah that they live on was one of the first Moshavim in Israel to be given to it was one of the first Moshavim in Israel to be given to the Persian community, and many Persian immigrants came here and also defended it. So the Moshav has a long history of that, and Ilay grew up with that as part of his being.
And thank you to the anonymous friend who has volunteered services to help translate and facilitate this interview, so that way we can have a discussion and be informed. So he was looking up to his grandfather. He was looking up to the IDF soldiers. What was he like in middle school, high school? Was he always focused on going to the army? Was that something that he was very proud of?
Yes, he did what we called something like mechina before joining the army.
Pre-military academy.
Yeah. Twice a week he went to train, and he started in the high school, and he wanted to be in the Navy, but it didn't come up. So he started to train to a Maglan unit. This is a commando unit.
Commando
division, and he joined to the Tzanchanim. And after 3 days, he was. They called him to the Maglan unit. And
what was your feeling as parents when your son is going to commando unit? It's not like he has not a job, Nick. He's not going to sit in an office. He's going to go and do some crazy things. What were your thoughts as a parent?
Zaki didn't like it.
I don't like it. So.
And
but we can stop him, because that's what he wish.
That was his dream.
He want to be a soldier in the commando, not do something major in the army, not something simple that all the people in his age to
donate, to be the best. He did the best.
And did you so you didn't try to talk him out of it, or you thought that if you did, that it would only make the situation worse?
I don't know.
So yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
He did when he joined the army and he was going through the testing phases. He did the gibush v'shayetet, which is the Israeli Navy SEALs, twice, because he wanted to be so badly. He did it, which is rare, not only once, but he did it again because he wanted it, and then he didn't get in, so he did another gibush and then got into Maglan from that gibush, which is a lot of determination.
He was so stubborn that they let him to do another.
And he gets his stubbornness from his mother or his father? Okay, so
Everything he did the best.
So what's that as a parent though, as you're coaching someone through going through now going through the gibush 3 times? That's not, I've had now dozens of interviews with different families and having discussions about it. I haven't heard of someone doing gibush 3 times. So what was that like, coaching him through that as a parent?
We supported him. So I took him for the meetings. I took him for all of the country, to the north, to the south. I was after him.
And so his regular service, what did he see as a regular soldier? Was there combat that he was engaged in regularly? Were you nervous basically the entire time he was in uniform?
No. In the regular service, there was only one operation that they called Shomer Chomot.
We participated.
He participated for 6 weeks. It was very short. It was very short. And he was participating in 2 operations that I can't talk about them. So I only heard it after.
That's what we know, yes?
We didn't know.
Never tell us what he do in the army.
2 operations that was not in Israel. That was his third. And then he did many. During his serving, he learned Arabic for 5 months.
He was the team's interrogator. So one person is selected to go to a special course where you learn Arabic and you learn various techniques, and he was the one who was selected because he loved languages. I came from the U.S. and one of the first things that connected me to him was his English was so good. It was easy for me to communicate with him. Being an Oleh Hadash, I immediately had a friend who I could speak to in English when it was difficult for me. And he was very gifted in languages.
Yes. He learned Spanish before his big trip to South America. He learned Spanish by himself for 3 months. And when he come back to Israel, we saw that he's speaking fluently, and I was amazing.
In that spirit, I really do appreciate you guys stepping outside of the comfort zone to talk to me in English. So thank you. So right there, he's speaking 4 different languages. He clearly is extremely sharp and has a mind for it. You mentioned the trip South America. What did he do for his trip after he finished the army? And for those of you who don't know, a lot of soldiers, when they finish their service, they go on a trip to relax and have some time off after a very engaging period of time within the army system. So South America, whether that's Thailand, other places, very common destinations. So what did he do on his trip to South America?
He was in 10 countries, and he planned the trip for a long time. He knew where he's going, and planned every site he was. In the 10 countries, he started on Buenos Aires and finished on Cuba.
And Ilay planned the trip with his best friend that he murdered in the Nova.
In the Megunit.
In the Megunit Nova. So this is the this is unluck, when he started his life, right. He heard that his best friend murdered in the Nova, so he didn't know, he don't know what to do, and he was serving Gaza. So from then Ilay was very, very determined to fight in Gaza.
So when did he come back? When did he come back from his trip? Wow. So he's back in July of 2023, and then on October 7th, he's at your house?
Yeah, he
Yes.
was in the house. He was joined. He was he received the Tzav Shmone. You know what is it? Tzav Shmone?
He was called up as in reserve duty.
On the 9 o'clock, something like that. His commander sent him a message, and he was the first that.
He was the first one
He
to
was
come
the
to
first
base.
one.
They called everybody, and people were in different parts of the country, and Eli was the first one from the team who was on base, getting all the gear organized, getting everything ready for us to deploy.
And all of that, what he knew about his friend Raz, because another friend of, there were three friends. And another friend called me at 7, something like at 7, when they started the missiles and the sirens, and he told me that Raz is missing. And Eli was the last one that talked with Raz, something like 3 in the morning. Didn't know what where he was. He knew that he was in the Nova, but he didn't know details about Raz. So on that day, he went to fight, and in the knowing that Raz is missing. So it was very difficult for him. And that something like 10 o'clock in the evening, some in the 10 and a half, something like that, 10:30 in the evening, they were the first team that came to Nahal Oz, not the kibbutz. They were in Nahal Oz, and they fight there, and they took the Tatzpita and the terror. So
Did you talk to him about that before he had a chance to go fight in Gaza?
no, before the fight.
No, I'm saying once October 7th had happened in the days that followed, trying to recapture the South, of course, reservists and hundreds of thousands of soldiers are getting ready to go into Gaza, and they're going in to fight. Did you have a chance to talk to him to discuss what he had seen, or that was
Yes.
something you didn't have
Yes,
time?
yes. He was it's influenced. He was very upset. He told me, Mama, I saw things that very hard, difficult things. The smell of the burning, and
And I see here that
very terrified because of the women. So the situation of the crafts of women,
right.
and the smell of the burning. I saw him only on Saturday, on that week. So when he came on Saturday, that's the first thing he told me. And I told him, okay, don't talk about it now. We'll talk about it later, because I saw that he was upset. It was on Saturday, the day that he heard about Raz, that the army found his body, and we told him, because we didn't want to know that he will know about it from the phone or friends. So I called him and told him the bad news. And when he heard about Raz, he was more anxious to fight. And 2 weeks after that, they got in Gaza. He was the first in his team that got in Gaza, because he had a special equipment that his commander wanted to prepare the team before the team.
We say everything here, by the way. On this podcast, we've discussed all of the things you're not supposed to discuss security-wise. Don't worry.
He was the Kashran of the
He
Tzevet.
was a Kashran.
Got it. Okay.
He was the radio op, and we needed to set up a forward position for the Kodkod, which is the higher commanders of the
Right.
Me and him and 3 other guys from our Tzevet were the first to go in with the 3 other members of the higher command to set that up. So
They were the first ever,
Yeah,
all
we were
the units.
the forward advancer,
Yes.
and that was on the 27th.
Anonymous friend, what was going through his head at that time?
Rinat called me to tell Eli that Raz, they had confirmed that Raz had been killed, and I saw a very distinct change in his personality between that time when we were training and then the time we went in. And it was very clear the effect that it had on him, because they had been so close. So, sort of the silver lining I take from this whole thing is that maybe they're together somewhere. Not that I believe in any, I don't know what I believe in, but I'd like to think that, it's horrible what happened to Raz. It's horrible that he was killed at Nova, but maybe they're together having a whiskey somewhere.
I see here on the Times of Israel article I was able to pull up. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing his last name, but it's Bukovska.
Bokovsa.
Bukovska. Okay. It said Eli was scrawling his name on buildings in the strip.
Yes.
So how, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Eli was writing a diary during the
The
trip and during the war. I opened his diary and I saw that he wrote that he is fighting in memories of Raz. I think that it is one of, it's affected him.
Do you want to speak with the Eli sisters?
Absolutely. So, by the way, just for the audience here, as we're from a brief interlude there, but yeah, this is a little bit more of a freestyle family affair. I think speaking very openly and honestly, one of the things that it's hard for people to understand across the world in world Jewry is that you see someone's name appear on a screen, unfortunately, with horrible news. There's a picture at the funeral. There's a shiva. There's people that want to help and be involved. It's hard to know what's going on a year later, or 15 months later, or 16 months later, or what a family members, how it has an impact on family members, and kind of what life has been like, and how it what that challenge continues to be. I apologize, sister, that I don't know your first name.
Shaked.
Nice to meet you, Shaked. So, what's your favorite memory of Eli when you look back?
Me and Eli were very connected, so I have lots of memories. I can't really, point out one of them.
You can go with as many as you want. We got time.
Yeah, but I think one of the memories that I like to think about the most is just like the regular Saturdays outside with a cup of coffee and talking with our dog and just sitting and talking. It's not very special, but it's the moment that counts.
Right. So just the being together.
Yeah, it's like brother and sister sitting together.
Where were you on October 7th?
I was sleeping, and my mom woke me up and told me that there's war and something, and I didn't really, it's a bit shocking. I didn't really know what's happening. And I went outside of my room, and then I saw Eli with uniforms, and then didn't really know what's happened. So I just went to Eli and I told him, explain to me what happened. And he told me that there's war, and there was a party that terrorists came and, really just did horrible stuff.
What time was that?
Before 9, 10. And then I went downstairs to the living room to see what's happening on the TV. Eli came down like as soon as possible. He had a bag packed and everything. And my dad gave me money. I don't know why, but just in case. And I remember that he wanted to go as soon as possible, just to go and be on the base. He was so prepared, and he wanted to go out and fight. And yet I don't know why he was so.
What did you say to him as a sister as he's heading off to war?
No, you can't really tell something. It was shocking just that there's war happening just in the middle of, I don't know. Mm. Yeah. So I just told him to be safe, and I gave him a hug, and we really ran out of the house just to go to the base and prepare everything. It was really, we wanted to do everything as quick as possible, as fast as possible. So I didn't really have much time. My dad told him stay a little bit, drink something, eat something, but we just wanted to go to the base as soon as possible.
So you didn't realize how big a hero he was at the time, because obviously we didn't know the extent of what was going on, but just the concept that he's sitting there saying, wow, there's thousands of jihadi terrorists, horrible monsters coming, and he's like, I have to run there first. That's truly unbelievable.
Now looking at it, you see how it was so heroic.
When's the last time you spoke to him?
Saturday? Yes, I think. My mom came to pick me up, and he was at some roof in Gaza. He called my mom, and she picked me up, and I talked to her a little bit on the phone, and that's what happened. But he came several times to the house just for a night.
And again, if feel free to answer this how you'd like to answer it, and don't feel any pressure in any way. But
yeah, I know.
Well, you actually led me to my next question by saying that, but I'll start first with, where were you when you found out that your brother had fallen in battle?
So I was in my house with my sister Neta. She's here too. We were alone, and I told the story to a lot of people, and nobody realized why soldiers came and told us without our parents. But it happened. I think you don't really.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we were alone. My sister Neta.
They just told you, and your parents weren't there?
Yeah. So, and my older sister Danielle. Yeah.
By the way, I'm not. I hate it's not a comparison. It's not anything like this. That's not even the worst story I've heard. But that's still I can't believe that happened. So I'm sorry that happened.
And my older sister used to live in Elat, which is like 4-hour drive.
Right.
Yeah. So I had to get the. I had to get the message and tell them to call my sister or send a soldier back there to tell her what happened, which I didn't know, but she got into labor, and I had to call my dad and my mom, which my dad knew.
You told your parents?
They told me not to tell them, but my dad understood what happened just for calling him. And my mom, actually, when they came, so I was a little bit scared, so I went upstairs to call my mom and tell her that there's soldiers outside, and we live next to a base, so I thought there's something, I don't know. I just told her to come to the house. I don't know what happened, but told her to come to the house, and I think she also realized.
She told me, "Mom, come quickly. There are soldiers in the house."
Okay, so yeah, I think it's fair to say this was not the finest moment of speaking to families about this, and I can't imagine what that was like. I'm sorry. I want to ask you, Ked, and this is a question that I've had a discussion with several siblings of soldiers who fell and widows on Manot. How have your social interactions changed after, in the sense that, do you find that sometimes people don't know what to say to you, or if they should mention it, or if they shouldn't mention it? Do you feel like when you go into a restaurant you have eyes on you, or how? Because I feel like most of the time people don't know what to say, and they're not sure if they're being a bad person by not talking to you about it, but at the same time they're not sure if you just want to go out and not hear about it.
I put myself in their shoes. I think that God forbid, something happened to another person which wasn't Ilay, I would say the exact same thing. I would say that I'm sorry for your loss and give them a hug, but you can't really say something that's gonna cheer me up. It's not really. There's nothing you can do. You can say that I'm sorry for your loss, but it doesn't make so much difference.
So you say, do you prefer if people ignore it, or if they're?
Don't really know. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think that if you ignore it, it's better than coming and say sorry for your loss. I think it's the.
I'm trying to hammer this. I'm trying to get to the point of that, because it's something that unfortunately I've seen in interactions, and perhaps it's not talked about all that much, but there's sometimes where people will run into someone and they're will be so focused on not trying to bring up their brother or their sister or whoever it might be, that it actually becomes uncomfortable.
I'm proud of my brother. I think I want to carry his name. I want to be his sister. I don't want to disconnect from him. I want to be Ilay's sister. I don't want to, hide the fact that my brother was killed.
Wow. No, I get that. It's so what in you're Shaked, the sister of the hero of Israel.
She's the real hero.
Yeah, I don't. Again, I'm trying to be, how would I say this politely. I try not to just make it. I don't want to like bash anything or anything like that. I'm very confused how that ended up happening. That you had to inform everyone and had to make the calls like that.
No, there's nothing you can do. My mom was at her hairdresser. My dad was at work. He comes at 7 o'clock at the evening. You can't really. I had to do it because I didn't have much choices. So it's calling my mom. I called my mom just like from the fear that something happened, and I told them what to do, and they told me to call my dad, tell him that something happened. He realized that I didn't tell that something happened to Eli, but he realized that, and I told them the address of my sister in Elat, and then they sent a soldier back then to the hospital.
So your sister was in labor before she found out, or she found out?
Yeah.
And
In the same time he was killed, she got into labor,
In 10 o'clock in the morning,
which is time that Eli was
she
killed.
had pains. She called me, and that's the time he fell. That's the exact time. I didn't know then, but when the soldiers were here, she was on hospital.
They came in a 2.5.
okay, so your daughter is in labor, your sister's in labor, and you're finding out that your son fell in the battlefield. I don't even know what to ask. I don't even know how to understand that.
Automatic.
You just do stuff without thinking.
The soldiers, they asked me to send a picture. They asked me things that we had to do in this exact time. And by the time my daughter Daniel called me, and I didn't answer because I didn't know how, you don't say it on the phone. So she called me, and she was wondering why I'm not
Right,
receiving
and
calls.
she's in her time of need. She's going into labor,
Yes.
and she's trying to call her mother.
Sorry, Mom, why you're not So only at six in the evening, the soldiers came to the hospital in Elat, and they told her.
And then she came back to the Moshav with ambulance. She wanted to be here for the funeral.
In the funeral, so she left the hospital with a doctor in an ambulance, 4 hours driving, and came to our house. She was in the funeral, and from the funeral, she went quickly to the hospital. And my grandson was born 2 days after this. A day after the funeral.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and in the Shiva, during the Shiva, I just left here.
We just left to see him.
The people that, yes, and they go to the hospital to be in the labor. And got in the morning, the next day in the morning to
after the Shiva ended, we had a brit. When a boy,
it is a brit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
The Shiva ended.
2 days after the Shiva ended, it was the.
And your grandson was named for your son,
No.
right? Oh.
Also,
The godfather was the grandfather.
Eli's full name is Ilay Eliyahu Cohen, and Eliyahu is Eli's grandfather, who now his nephew has been named Mael Eliyahu.
Right. Okay.
As a reference to both of them. And
right.
Another thing is that his grandfather Eliyahu died about 6 weeks after Eli died. So the timeline is crazy. Eli had 2 dogs he loved very much. So Raz was killed on October 7th. Eli was killed on the 5th of December. Raphael was born 7th?
8th.
December. On the 8th of December, his nephew. And then his grandfather Eliyahu died 6 weeks later, and his dog died 2 months later.
The day before.
One day before Eli's birthday. So just an incredible cycle of death and rebirth and life, just mind-blowing.
It takes a lot for me to get shocked at some of these stories, and you have me shocked. How do you unpack that few months of emotion? or you can't even really do so. That's so many ups and downs. Shakir, you're in high school. How are you supposed to do your homework?
I have no choice.
We
but
always
you you process it slowly. You take it step by step, trying to understand what happened.
Is there, I guess, do you see any qualities in your grandson that resemble your son?
qualities of
No, like resemblance.
Energy.
He's also energetic, like Eli.
Wow. So you mentioned, Shakir, very powerfully about not shying away from a legacy and wanting to, and being very proud about being associated with your brother. And I know your family has embarked on a few different projects in his memory. Could you talk about the Sefer Torah that you guys are writing?
Yes, we are.
They're renewing. They're renewing a
Sefer Torah that
It's not kosher.
is not kosher. It's not a new one, but
Want to fix
we
it.
want to fix it and call him after his name in the memory of Eli.
Wow. And you said it's going to be
Very important to us because we want to put this Sefer Torah in the Moshav, where Eli was
Bar mitzvah.
bar mitzvahs, and we have only one Bet Knesset in the Moshav, the community.
It's small.
Is very small, and there are no many Sefer Torahs in this synagogue. So,
and is there money yet to be raised for it? Is there a way that people can participate?
we started to raise money because we do all kinds of things that we do in memories of Eli, and because there are too many things, it's hard to us, difficult to us to raise money for that mission. So we are going with a link that will.
Campaign.
Okay, I'll get that link and we'll share it in the show notes and plug it here. And
Appreciate it.
I hope everyone can participate and continue to help promote Eli's name so that more people can learn of his heroism and his story. Before we sign off here, is there anything else that you want the audience to take away when they think of your son, brother?
Loves life, music, good coffee, smoking cigars, to travel in Israel and everywhere in the world.
You like to have fun, to live.
Yeah.
Can I just say also two things? One, Eli's other sister is a chayalet now, and she'd also like to say a few words. Maybe you could say because of you could just speak and then they can hear you.
Nah, it's coming. Yeah, you want
Maybe
So
to take. By the way, if you want to take the mask, or I just plug it. I just put it on TikTok, and Dover Tzal doesn't check anything, so it just becomes people can go free.
Not funny.
the only thing I'd like to say is I knew Eli for a few years, and from the minute I met him, I realized that he was a very special person. People like to say this all the time, that this person died, therefore they were special. Eli was truly a special person in that his interests and his enthusiasm were unlike anybody I've ever known.
It's one of a kind.
One of a kind. He loved building things with his hands. He had hands of gold. He used to buy axe heads off eBay and build axe handles for them. He used to make his own pouches out of leather and bone. He rebuilt guitars. He was a blues guitarist. We would jam on the guitar all the time. I'm somebody who loves all that old school American culture, and I found somebody here who in that way was like a brother to me, because I had somebody in my team, the one guy in Israel who, knows every single part of a knife and can disassemble it, knows what scrimshaw is, knows who Howlin' Wolf was, knows every Rolling Stones and Bob Dylan song by heart. One of my memories of him is singing I Want You by Bob Dylan while we were in the Hummer on the way to Nacharoz. So having somebody like that in my life was truly something special. And I feel blessed that I was able to know him for such a time and such a short time, unfortunately. But I'd like his sister now also to talk about being in the Army and what her experience is like. Yeah.
Okay, Netta, welcome to the show here. Where are you in the Army now?
This is like I can't really tell. Okay.
Special unit.
Let's just keep it a secret. I prefer not to share it. I think this is the most safe thing to do.
Are you
kind of update about my state in the military, but I'm heading like for it to be a commander.
Involving combat?
Yes.
Is that something that you discuss with your parents?
We will discuss it.
They're always like they're very against it, but like I just don't listen to them.
Was
But-
was this desire to be in combat present before October 7th and before your brother fell, or is that something that you have developed since?
It's something I have developed since. You know, like our family is very involved with the military in general. So I kind of like grew up with this. But yeah, I think that's something like pushed me to this even more after Eli died, and since October 7th, like all of my friends from the Tibet, they also like feel the same way. We always like have lessons and like sessions about like the war and like values that they want to give us. So we always like remember like who we fight for and why, and like the purpose with that. And yeah,
Why do you fight?
why do everybody fight? Like we all fight for like the one of the most like important thing ever, our safety. Like we this is our home. Like we can never go to anywhere. This is our home. We have to protect it.
And was that value strengthened after Eli fell?
Yes, absolutely. Like at the same base, Eli did his like basic training. When he enlisted to the army, I did my basic training too. Like the same
Same training.
training. Like everything he did, I did too. Like a combat.
But you're better, right? And by the way, I'll just plug that if you do need any equipment, you know where to find me. There are friends there, so we can make sure that nothing's missing if you get past
No, I'm very responsible on my
the biggest hurdle, which is going to be your parents' permission. I can tell. You were. What was that? What was that? Those few days from December 5th to December 8th like for you?
December 5th through December
8th. She wasn't in the army yet, though.
No, but you're still another sister of the hero of Israel.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Were you home for Shaked's moment?
I was in my senior year in the high school.
Told you we were together.
Oh, you were together. Okay.
Yeah, I was with Shaked at the same time. Like it was really unbelievable. I ran to the officers, okay, who came to tell us like Eli died, and like I remember like me pouring water to them, very shocked, but pouring like water suggests like water.
Wait, why are you pouring water for them?
I don't know. I just felt like I need to do it. I felt like this is the right thing to welcome them, even though like my life is going to change. I don't know what I did it. I just told them, sit down, you want something to drink? I just gave them water or something like happened to me. Like I was with my little sister. I felt like responsible. I remember like me covering Shaked in the blanket and like staring in her eyes and telling her like our life is going to change. Like you're going to hear something who's gonna kill us inside, but like we're gonna stay still and we're gonna be together, okay? And I hugged her, and then like they told us that Eli like fell in the Gaza Strip and like in the north of Gaza Strip. Like Shaka started crying. I was more in shock. I didn't know what to do. Like I didn't believe that. I knew he was dead because like every officer that comes to tell about like the fallen soldiers is
You get a band on your arm.
like a band in the arm, and like was okay. They are coming here to tell me Eli is going like to not come back home. So I looked at him and I was like, is he dead, right? And then like I saw on their like faces, like on these mercy faces, I was like don't you like stare at me like that, like tell me, is he dead or not? and I was right.
Did anybody and nobody said, "Hey, like my parents aren't home. Just wait."
I told them.
No,
Oh,
she
you
came.
And then I called everyone.
Our like work, okay, what I did and what she did was different. She told like my parents about like it. She like called them, and I just tried to take responsible on everything.
We both took responsibility. She wanted to care for me. I wanted to tell my parents because they were
Wow.
at home.
And like the day I had like I was supposed to enlist to the army was also December 5th. Yeah, so like I declined it to December 8th. I remember me like talking to my commander, and I was like, "Yo, I didn't tell her yo."
That's a good way to speak to your commander. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't tell her yo, but
Okay.
like I was supposed to come in here to the base with everyone. Like I came a little bit late.
3 days.
Yeah, so she was like, she looked at it in a different perspective. I really admire her. She's not my commander anymore, but I like really admire her. And she told me like, you enlisted to the army in December 8th when your nephew was born. It's a symbolize of life, new life, like a baby reborn, and not a death. So I think the like declining my my enlisting to the army was the best thing to do. And yes, I looked at it in that perspective. Like my commander was right, and now when she's not my commander anymore. We met her, all of my tzevet, with her, and I told her like, I love that perspective. I couldn't tell you that earlier, but now when like you're not my commander anymore, you're like my friend. Like so, I love that perspective when going to the army in the day that a baby is born, and not in the day that a brother is like dead.
Your parents did something because you guys are something else, because just the fact that yes, your nephew was born, it was still 3 days after, and you still felt the commitment to go and join the army and be part of that fight, which is I would say, I don't really have words. I think unbelievable would be an understatement. So
it's like doing my first like shoot in a weapon without like, yo, Eli, I had my first shoot today. It was so nice. It was so like great. So like
you miss him on moments like that where you're having experiences
like,
in the army.
when we did a little like combat exercises, combat exercises. So I was like really thinking about him. Like, okay, I'm doing what he did. Like I'm not
better,
just
but better. You're always thinking that you're better. Yeah.
Nobody's better than him.
No. So okay, there's a disagreement at the table here because I can see.
doing better. I don't.
No. What I just quickly, what's the general feeling in your unit or your friends that are in the army now? There's a lot of noise. People aren't necessarily sure what people are thinking or feeling. What's your anecdotal experience right now?
I remember in my training base, my first months in the military, I didn't really tell anyone about Eli. They just knew I'm coming to the base later because my brother died in the war. I actually text like the girls. I was like, "Yo, girls, I miss you. Like I'd love to see you so much, but I'm joining in more like 3 days. Like it's my brother's memorial today," and they were all really supportive. They were really like, "We're waiting for you, and we're waiting you to come, and we'd love to hear about Eli." I like only 1 month ago, I told all the tzevet about Eli. They've been asking me like so many questions about it, about Eli, like especially the boys, because they are really into this whole fighting and the shetach,
Field.
in the field, and so yeah, they accepted it really nice. They're being sensitive when they have to be sensitive, but this is me not really talking about him. This is me like want to share it whenever I want to share it, like even when I like think about Ilay. I don't feel like I just don't feel like מרגישה בנוח. Comfortable. No, can I just don't feel comfortable like talking about it like with everyone there. I know that only me and my commander like talked about Ilay a lot. Like I couldn't really talk to someone in my tzevet. I just don't feel comfortable anymore. But yeah, like when I told them the whole story about Ilay, I felt like it's an overshare. Like maybe I put like a big weight on their back and like, oh, how are they gonna talk to me right now because they know everything. They know this like traumatizing story. Yeah.
What I think I love most about how you tell over your story is that you don't even realize how incredible you are, because the fact that you're going ahead and doing this when you really have every excuse and reason in the world to just say that I'm going to go sit in bed and do nothing or hang out and try to be okay. So that's precisely why your story becomes even that much more
like,
incredible.
Everyone were like, how can you like do this like job and like do this crazy stuff when like he like died like not long ago? I think that this is my victory to continue his way. And I think I'm gonna be the loser if I'm gonna sit in bed and not do anything. I don't have any reason for that. I don't have any right to not enlisting to the army. Like it's like if I no.
You're not a Haredi yeshiva student, so you have to go to the
Yeah, like if I did it, so I think I'm gonna be the loser. Like I don't have any rights to not going to the army, even though I'm like a brave sister. I have no right. Like if I'm like going to the army, if I'm not going to the army in any case.
Well,
we raised them like this, you know, to be the best, to do.
I really hope that the next time I'm in Israel, I can get all of you at a table again and just talk, because I need to absorb some of this energy. It's unbelievable. You guys are an unbelievable family, and like I said before, it takes a lot for me to be speechless on something like this. I am speechless just hearing about how amazing you guys are in the face of intense trauma and life-changing event, but you guys are incredibly strong and pushing forward for the Jewish people, for the state of Israel, and pushing Eli's memory forward as well, because you guys are, like you said, Shaked, when people see you, they're going to say, there goes, there's a sister of a hero of Israel, and you guys are going above and beyond the call of duty. I really, really appreciate you guys taking all the time. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for joining. And for those who are interested in participating, I'll post all the links and everything. So you'll see how to participate. Thank you. Thank you so much.